Welcome to the Bariatric Bros podcast, living that bariatric life and eating like men. I'm your host, Mike Alley, foodie and former big guy, not so big anymore, but still very much a foodie. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little while. We kicked off last week. I've got to tell you, your response to episode 1 and the start of all this has been amazing. So thank you so much for everyone who chimed in across our socials or sent us an email and just said, hey, I'm loving where you're going with this, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more. So the positive feedback was so wonderful, and I want to thank you for that. That leads me into letting you know that we are on all the social media everywhere. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, we're all at Bariatric Bros. Our website is up and fully operational at bariatricbros.com. And since we last spoke, we've even kicked off a YouTube page where we're going to be posting the podcast episodes there and probably some other stuff along the way. So again, you can find it there. Just search for Bariatric Bros on YouTube. I had started this episode week planning for it, and I had said I'm going to do food. Honestly, the topic was food. That was what I was going to do because I am such a foodie, and it's such an important part of the bariatric lifestyle is not only our relationship with food, but how we deal with food and all of this. I've thrown that out the window for this week. Reason being, I had all this prepped and ready to go. And over the last couple of days, looking at my social feeds, looking at Instagram especially, a lot of the weight loss surgery community and the bariatric community seems to live on Instagram. I'm sure everybody's probably on Facebook and Twitter and other places, but Instagram really seems to be where a lot of people live. I have seen so many posts in just the last 48 hours about mental health, about people's dealing with everything from pre-op folks that are prepping for surgery to folks that have had surgery to folks dealing with their issues and body image past surgery and now years past surgery and loose skin and all of this. And it's one thing I've learned over however many years, I've been 30 years in broadcasting. Sometimes you have to throw out your plan and you have to go off the cuff. I have a sheet here that I plan, kind of outline what I'm going to talk about. And I will tell you that there's nothing on my sheet right now because just when I sat down to do this is too much. It's still on my mind. We've got to talk about the mental game. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend a few minutes talking about the mental game. It is so important to have your mental game set. And depending on you and your personality, that's going to be different for different people. How you feel about yourself is deeply ingrained, and I'm not a psychiatrist by any stretch of the imagination, but it goes back to your childhood. Everything builds upon everything else in your life, including the mental game. The strongest people can sometimes falter on what I call the mental game. I've been talking with someone who's getting ready to have surgery in just a couple of days, and I've explained to them as I prepped for my surgery that I knew it was going to be about getting through those 8 to 10 weeks pre-op to post-op. For me, it was liquid diet for the 2 weeks pre-op and then liquids, purees, and all of that. And you can plan everything out. You can plan all your food meals, you can plan all your prep, but when you sit down, it's really getting your mindset right. Because if you go into this without the proper mindset, you're going to struggle. You're going to have more problems. And even if you have the proper mindset, I'm not saying you're not going to have a struggle, but you are going to have more of a struggle if you have not prepped your mind as much as you've prepped your body and your pantry. And I say that because those 8 to 10 weeks from the 2 weeks pre-op through this are going to be awful for some people. Let's just say it like it is. Some people are going to struggle. You're going to have problems. Not only are you having major surgery, but you're eating things that may never have been part of your diet previously. You're having to deal with textures that you may never have before. And if you're not ready for that, if you don't have that in your head, you can put it down on paper. You can talk with your dietitian. You can even talk with the psychiatrist. I don't know if this is a worldwide thing, but in the United States, you have to talk with the psychiatrist before insurance will approve the procedure. One of the things that blew me away when I first learned about bariatric surgery was the fact that the number one cause of death of bariatric surgery was suicide. Because folks who have problems with body image especially think, oh, I'm going to drop all this weight. But as we all know, it's not like it happens in a day. It's not like it happens in a month. It takes a while for everything to happen, even though it's quick compared to other things. The issue is now you've taken away your comfort. If food was your comfort, if food was the thing that brought you your solace when you got frustrated about things, now you can't do that anymore because you're eating 4 ounces at a time. And so folks feel desperate. That was a real wake-up call to me that this mental piece is going to be key to success in bariatric surgery. And so for me, I really prepped for this to be awful. Once I get on the other side of this, then it's going to be good. Will there be struggles? Will there still be times? Will there still be issues that I might deal with? Yeah, but I'm going to be through the toughest part. So for me, I sat down and prepped for that. I will say, I think becoming or being a foodie helped me, because let's just take the puree phase of post-surgery. If you haven't had it, this is where you go off liquids and you go into soft foods and purees. So you're basically blending everything. And some people call it baby food. And I think that's a bad way to call it, because when you call something baby food, you think of, oh, it's bland and nothing. And I mean, you've seen that picture of the baby. They put the spoon in and the baby goes, bleh. I said, think of it as the pate stage. There you go. Think pate. Let's blend that shrimp. Let's blend that chicken with some stock. Let's cook it and have some spice in there. And then you put it in that blender and you blend it down to something you would spread on a cracker. And think about it like a pate. Now, you have to understand the pate texture. It's not going to be like chewing a piece of meat. But if you can get that same flavor, well, man, you are there. I got to tell you, when I got through the liquid stage and went into what I like to call the pate stage, I had a blast because I like to cook. So I was able to blend it down. My wife even said that I could probably make a lot of money if I decided to do these things and make pates for people when they're in that stage, make these purees. Too many people get locked into what they can't have. It starts to play with your head. This life is not about restriction. It's about reality. And what I mean by that is you've got a new reality. You have a new reality in how you're living and how you're going to be eating. Don't focus on the, I can't have this now. There may be some foods you can't tolerate after the surgery. You'll find something different. You'll find another favorite thing. If you can't tolerate, or maybe you can tolerate everything. I've been blessed in that there's nothing that I really can't eat. Of course, I can't eat the amounts I was eating. So it's not about restriction. It's not about I can't have that. It's about the reality of I'm going to eat this much. I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a meal, but I'm going to take all this home and I'm going to make the right choice. It's about the mental game. I would like to just take a few minutes to encourage you right now. I want to encourage you to reach out. I've been so impressed with the community around folks that have had bariatric surgery. I was not in this community. I was on one Facebook group after surgery, and it was great. I was not involved until I started this podcast in the larger bariatric weight loss surgery community that is not just the United States or the North America, it's around the world. There's so many great folks that are listening in Australia, folks that are listening in Mexico and Canada, in France, in South American countries. It's been amazing to me that this community rallies around each other. The WLS fam. And that I have come to find has been so comforting, has been so encouraging. Look, there's some trolls. There's some people, well-meaning folks that I saw comment on some people's posts about their struggle. Especially there was one post this past week that just broke my heart. It's someone who's dealing with losing the weight, finding that sweet spot after they've lost the weight, and now dealing with excess skin and their vision of themselves. They were pouring out their heart, and then there's someone in there who's basically like telling them how to view it. You can't tell someone else how to feel. You can't tell someone else how to view their life. Love that person. Send them some love. Send them some encouragement. Let them know that, hey, if you need to talk more about this, do that. You need an entrance into someone's life before you can just start going, oh, by the way, you just need to kind of get over that. You may think you're helping, but stop for a second before you hit that post, because you may not be helping. You may be just giving them one more reason to not share the next time. I would encourage you to go out there and do that and give love, give that love, because this community is amazing. I'm so happy that I did this, that I started this podcast, if for no other reason than the connection that I have made through this great community. It's been phenomenal. I did not want to get this heavy and this serious already in the podcast. I do want to keep it light. I want to keep it fun. I don't want this podcast to just be another podcast of here's all the different struggles that you're going to go through. There's great podcasts out there that are doing that right now. I just found one the other week. I didn't even know it was out there until I got into this community. The folks at East to West WLS are great. They are doing that thing where they're talking about specific issues within the community, and that may be what you need. And I've heard from others about some other great podcasts out there. And I don't want this podcast. I'm trying to be something maybe a little different with it, maybe a little more fun, just a little more entertainment with some education in there. This mental game piece was just so important, and I felt like I needed to speak into it right now. So, and if anything, over these last few months have taught us with not only COVID here in the United States, with everything surrounding the issues about injustice, that when you get the idea that you need to speak on something, you need to speak on it. Don't hold it back. You got to get it out there and let folks know, because you know what? There's someone right now who needed to hear about this today. So make sure you're in this WLS community, this bariatric community. Get in. Instagram does seem to be the place where most everybody's living and sharing. Get in there and post, and don't be afraid to share your feelings. Don't be afraid to put it out there. You may get some folks that'll be like telling you how to feel and how to think, but most people are going to give you a shoulder. They're going to give you a leg up. They're going to give you a place where you can feel comfortable to be honest about the struggles and the things that you're dealing with. The most important part of this is right upstairs. The food part, yeah. Can we struggle with that? Can you eat bad? Can you eat good? Yeah. But you know what? The mental game is with you 24/7 in your head. Let me just suggest that you surround yourself with folks, and even if it's not folks in your real life, maybe you don't have a great support system in your real life, but you can have it online. You can have a great community. You've got us here. If you email us, you can email right now, bariatricbros@gmail.com. You can jump on any of our socials at Bariatric Bros, and if you message us, we will get back to you. We will reach out. We will let you know that we care and we're here. Don't try to do it alone. You don't have to. Us guys, we don't share our feelings probably as much as we should, but I have been impressed at how willing guys are on these platforms to talk about our struggles and what we're dealing with. If I can do anything to forward that openness about our emotions through all of this, then I'm glad I did today and scrapped what we were going to do. So that's it. If you need something, you reach out. We're on all the socials at Bariatric Bros. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can hit up our YouTube channel. We're all at Bariatric Bros. and you can email us. You know what? We've even got a phone number. That's right. You can text us if you want. It's real simple. 443-356-6779. Shoot us a text. Happy to get back with you and happy to talk with you and keep encouraging you to move forward. So next week, I'm planning on being back probably with what I was going to do this week, which was to talk more about food and maybe have a little bit more fun. But this was important, and we will stop down for serious and important things when we need to. I would love for you to subscribe and give us a review. I have not been in the podcasting world long, but everybody tells me that reviews are what it's all about. So if you are listening on whatever service, will you go to wherever the review section is and put us in there with a big review? Just put a few words in there, hit us a 5-star, and helps other people find it. Keeps us, I guess, at the top of the list somewhere, something like that. And share this with your friends. Get on our socials and share it that way. So we want to hear from you too. If there's something you'd like to talk about, you can email us or hit us up on any of these socials. We're going to keep all the questions and things coming. And if you've got topic suggestions, love to hear about that as well. I'm Mike Alley. You keep living that bariatric life and eating like men.